Good evening, Brownsville AOBE members and BISD employees. This is Veronica Borrego, AOBE president. And next to me, I will let my vice president introduce herself.
My name is Micaela Escobar, and I'm the proud vice president of AOBE, and I'm also an employee of BISD.
And then we have Miss Ida. Miss Ida.
Hi, Ida Beldaño. I'm the staff with AOBE TSTA NEA.
And we have two beautiful and very special guests, our state president and our state vice president. And I will allow them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Olivia Molina, and I am a middle school teacher out of Bailiff ISD, currently serving as TSCA president.
Hi, my name is Linda Estrada, and I am a proud campus secretary at Don ISD, and I am currently the TSCA vice president.
So, the purpose of our podcast today is to discuss voting from our local level all the way up to our national level. And we wanted our president and our vice president from the state here to help explain and express how important voting is at all levels of our government. So I'm going to go ahead and allow and pass the torch to Ms. Molina, our president at the state level, so that she can go ahead and start giving us some information for voting.
And if I may, Ms. Molina, right before you get started, and just to let you know, I know you're familiar with our shows, and it's very informal, so we're able to be at ease and talk about different things. And also we address questions that come up from our viewers, and we try to answer them throughout the show as we're going. So, and of course, the reason, besides the very important roles that both of you ladies hold at the state level, but also what you've experienced in the past of the different elections in the past, and the difference of what uniting and organizing and taking action can do in voting. And I think we can all agree here, as we've seen, that there has been no other election that can be more important than this one that is coming up. And as I believe one of your postings said, that they said at the DNC that you have to go and vote and act as if your life depends on it, because basically it does. Mm-hmm. So, but with that, I know both you ladies bring a lot of experience that you have gone through with different elections in the past. But and also, you know, the different things that you can tie into this and how it's all connected, and how it comes down to the local level, and it impacts us locally. Even though we might think over there, oh, it's over there at the national level. No, we want just to focus on this. No, it trickles down, as we've all seen with Betsy DeVos, and how it's impacted all of us, unfortunately, in public education. So, but I just wanted you to know it's a very casual setting, and we just take questions and answers here as we go, as we try to keep our members and the public informed on this.
No, thank you for that. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for inviting us out. It really does need to be a conversation that everybody's having right now. It's very important to plan out what you're going to be doing on election day, and hopefully before election day on early voting times. And before that, make sure that you're registered. So it all sort of falls into place to make sure that you're having a conversation with people about why you're voting for a person. What is it that draws you to them? And for us, as you can see on my shirt, I vote education first. And I ask everybody that knows me, that loves me, that talks to me, to vote education first as well. And the reason that is because our public schools are the hub, they are the center of our communities. And we need to make sure that we support them, and that we have representatives that are going to be supporting our communities, our public schools, and the people that work in our public schools. Because we have very dedicated people that only want the best for our students and their families, because they come connected. And so I'm going to start the conversation at the national level because we often get a bigger voter turnout when it's a presidential race. So we should get a bigger turnout this time. It is a presidential race, but it shouldn't be that way. It should always be a big turnout because everything that happens to our educators is because somebody got elected somewhere at the local level, state level, national level. And so, especially those local elections are the elections that are going to really talk about the policies that are being made in your public schools. And they're very important because they touch your life every day, especially for our educators and our students and their families. So before going to the national one, I will just let everybody know that I truly believe in voting. And the reason I believe in voting is because I learned a very important lesson my first time voting. I am a naturalized citizen, and I didn't know. I didn't know how the process worked. And so I knew that you went to vote at a polling place, but I didn't know that you had to go to a specific one. And so I was in my mid-20s, I believe, when I first started voting, and I went to the place where my mom always went to vote. And I get there, and I'd gotten off of work, so I had maybe 30 minutes left to vote. I made it. And the lady tells me that I am in the wrong place. And I have no time to make it to my right polling place. And I can still remember the look of the poll worker's face when she told me, because I was in tears. It was my first time to vote, and I couldn't do it. And so that has stuck with me. And I try to early vote so that that never happens to me again. I'm also a history teacher. And so as a history teacher, I know that representation, who I choose to represent me, is my voice and how I affect my community, and in turn, how I represent for my students and their families, right? So I feel like I'm not doing my job if I don't vote, because if I'm staying out of it, then I don't have a say, and I'm allowing things to happen without telling people what we need. That's a lesson that I learned quickly, and it never happened again. And so I try to early vote, because if you early vote, in most places, you can go anywhere in your county on election day. In some places, you have to go to a particular place, and I know you're going to talk about that later. So if we go to the Education Votes site.
Yes, just real quick. There was a question as to what this is about. So what this is about is we're discussing elections, the importance of elections at the local, at the state, and at the national level, and how we as an organization here, especially here in Brownsville, with the largest population and being employed by the district, if we come out and bring out the vote, we can make a really huge impact on what the result is. So that's what this podcast is about today. Okay, so let me go to the national.
Yes, and definitely reminding people to register to vote and make their voices heard, because the changes aren't going to happen if you don't vote. And if you don't vote, the changes that happen might not be the ones that you wanted. So we've got to make sure that we are being represented. So on the national level, through NEA, the National Education Association, we have a site that is called Education Votes. And it tells you a little bit more about our parent organization, our union, right? It talks about why we are supporting the candidates that we are supporting. And I'll say it again, we vote education first. So we talk to representatives, people who are candidates on any level, whether they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, anything. If they're running for a position that will be elected by the people, we send them a survey to see how they stand on public school issues. They do the same thing at the national level. And if they don't turn in a survey, then they don't get the endorsement. And some people feel like it's not worth their time to answer questions that educators really want to know about. They really want to know their answers to see if they are going to support them, and they choose not to. So if you automatically don't turn in a survey, there is no way you can get an endorsement. You're not in the running for us to talk to you. And in the site, you can go in and look at how you can connect through Facebook, what you can do as an educator. And educator here, we all know that everybody who works in a public school is an educator. Everybody has a very important job and role in making sure that we have the best public schools for all our students. And so we are all important. And so I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is for everybody to go in and sign in and see what they can do to ensure that we get a new Secretary of Education that will support our students. And that's our biggest goal at the national level right now. You can also sign up for information to keep you informed, and you can share some things with your family and your friends, either through your social media or through emails. So there's a lot of information there that talks about why the election 2020 is so very important. And I know that Linda has also been an NEA director, and so she knows a little bit more about what happens at the national level as well through our parent NEA.
Yes, well, just to reiterate what Ovidia said, she basically covered everything, but as an NEA director, we have the responsibility to go and lobby our congressmen, our senators on issues that NEA feels that is very important to education. So we do that 3 times out of the year. And so, as she mentioned earlier, that this is going to be a presidential election, and it's good because that's usually when we have a big turnout. But it shouldn't only be about the president. I mean, there's a lot at stake here. There's U.S. senators and congressional representatives that are running. We've got state senators and representatives. We've got state governors, mayors, city council members. We've got school board. You know, we have a lot of elections that we that are coming up that we need to take part. One of the most important, and I know Ida mentioned it earlier about Betsy DeVos, when she got appointed in 2017. NEA really took NEA and TSTA really, and everybody across the United States, started calling their U.S. senators. And so at the time, we were getting a hold of them, and Cornyn was a key, very important person that we could have swayed him. Hopefully, we were trying to sway him to vote against Betsy DeVos, and so we encouraged everybody, all our members, to call and email and tweet and whatever we could. And at the end, he decided to go ahead and vote to appoint Betsy DeVos. So if you don't think that those kind of elections have consequences, look where we're at right now with Betsy DeVos and her being, with the education part. So it is very important. It is very important that we get involved at all levels. And the sad part about it is that, at the end of the day, we brought down his phone system in his office, and he actually called us pesky constituents. So guess what? He's up for re-election again in November. So let's remember that, guys. Let's remember that when we go to the polls, and remember he didn't listen to his constituents, those he represents. And we represent our students and what's in the best interest of our students and our educators. So please keep that in mind when you go vote in November.
And we understand that there are many issues that are important to voters, but we also want to make sure that they think about how public schools, really impact their lives. Right now, especially, we're seeing how much we are needed and how much support we are lacking because of laws and rules and policies that have been created by people that have been elected. And so we definitely need people that are going to be listening to educators, community members, to make sure that our schools are being supported. At the state level, you can go to tsta.org, and we have a legislative action tab where
you want me to switch screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect.
where you can look at different items. The one that I would especially tell our members to click on is the one that says take action, because it not only tells you how you can contribute to help in campaigns, either with money or with your person, and making sure that you're talking about the candidates that we would like supported, because they are the candidates that are going to support public education. But also you can sign up for email updates so that you are always aware of what's going on in your professions. We help you write a letter to the editor. It is very, very, very important that we share our stories. Our communities need to know what we go through and our students go through in our communities. And they won't know that unless we share our stories. And so you need to be able to say, especially as a public school employee, what it is that you love about your schools and what you love about the students and the community that we need to do better or more. And also what is hurting our communities and our students, because we want to make sure we fix it. So your voice is very important. It has information about who we endorse. That is very important, because a lot of times we may not have the time to go through and look at all the candidates. And we have already talked to people. And like I said, education first. These are the people that are going to be supporting our public schools. We have a list of endorsed candidates. And we update that for every election. The other thing is that if you don't know who your representative is, you should find out. And if you don't know, that means you haven't been in conversations with them. You haven't talked to them. And it's very important for you, they are representing you, for you to know that you can call their offices and you can ask them what they're doing on issues that are important to you. And if you don't like the answer, tell them, because that's their job. Their job is to listen to you, the community, and to make sure that you are being represented the way you should be. So if there's something that you need in your community, you should tell your representative. Yeah.
Just to add on to that, your vote is your voice. And like Ovidia said, if you don't reach out to your local legislative representatives or your congressmen, how are they to know what it is that your community needs? And that's the best way for you to be able to, for them to know, is that you have to have that communication with them. And so it is very important that your voice is heard, not only by calling them, but also by voting, because your vote is your voice. And your voice needs to be heard.
Yes, and your representatives are going to have newsletters as well, so that they will send you the information of what they're working on. And that's another way you can stay connected to what is going on in your community.
Ladies, now, would you all be able to name just a few of the examples of where it has made a difference at the state level in having the right people in office when it came down to the decisions that were going to impact public education? And we had their support, and the difference that made, and the difference of when we have not had the right people in office. So people can really make that connection of how it does impact us all the way to the local level.
Yeah, so one of the best examples that is more current is on HB3. We were the last group of teacher ESP organizations that would not sign off until the monies for our support professionals was included in the money that the state was going to be giving us, right? And so that happened for two reasons. One, educators got involved. People voted on education issues. They voted education first, and the candidates heard them. And that's very powerful, because they hadn't been listening to us for many, many years.
Right.
And because we got together and we voted education first, they felt the pressure to give educators a little bit of the money that they deserve. And it takes that. It takes us all working together, raising our voice. It shouldn't take that because Texas should fully fund our public schools, but we have to fight for it. That is one of the reasons that because remember when the elections were going on, there was going to be a $5,000 raise for educators. And it was just teachers, or it was just certified people. And then they started talking about something else. We didn't get the money they promised when they were running on the campaign. We fought for the money that we got, but we also made sure to fight for everybody, not just a particular group. And that's the thing that is very important to learn in that fight as well, is that we need to work together. We need to lift our voices together. Many times we feel like it's a teacher issue or a support professional issue. The reality is one can't do the job without the other. So we all need to be supporting each other and voting in the best interests of the whole. So that is one where TSTA is very proud to say we held off to make sure that everybody was going to get some support. We weren't happy with the support that we got because it wasn't what they promised, but everybody got something. And now we have to pressure them to make sure that they don't say, oh, well, we're going through some very scary times right now and we're not going to be able to fulfill what HB3 says. No, that is already funded. We made sure to do that. And we made sure that for these 2 years, you don't have to worry about it. So if we have school districts that are going to be saying, oh, we need to lay off a little bit and not give the raises that were promised before, that is not the case because that is funded. So those are the things that we're always watchful for. And then we have people who we've elected who actually helped make sure that that was written in, who asked us, are you okay with this? Because that's the power of getting a candidate elected. They know that you have the votes, the people, and they know that you're speaking for a large group. And we're speaking for public schools, and they know that we have the votes. Votes are very important. Every vote is very important.
And during that time, that's when the whole country was going through the Red for Ed movement, and so there was a lot of strikes that were going on in other states. And so we were being asked, well, why isn't Texas striking? Well, one, of course, we can't strike without punitive action. So what we did instead, with TSTA, we decided to march to the polls and make sure that we got those representatives elected. And then we marched to the Capitol. What we were doing on the first day of spring break, we were on the way, here in the Valley, we were up going to Austin. Everybody from all over the state was going to Austin, to the Capitol, to march collectively together and to go and speak to all our representatives. And that made a big impact because we wanted to make sure, say, hey, remember us? We voted for you. And so here we are to remind you of what we need. And like Ovidia said, this money was for a 2-year period. And it's funny because our local here in Donna, when we met with the superintendent in June, and we started asking him about the raises for this year, he kind of started saying that because of everything that was going on and everything they were going to have to buy, that more than likely we're not going to be able to have a raise this year. I'm like, no. I said, that's not the case. I said, you already have the money. You have the money from HB3. You have that money in place. So if you used it for something else, shame on you, because that money belongs to the employees. And so we went ahead and organized around that. And, the district was very, very generous in giving us giving us more than what we asked for. They went above and beyond what we asked for. So, we also need to be involved and know what we're talking about. If not, like I said, they're going to eat us up. They're going to eat us up, and whatever they tell us, we're going to have to believe because we don't know otherwise.
And that
is so right on, because in Brownsville, it's so funny. Here, some of the current board members were taking credit for the big raises that the employees got this year and last year, and it has been bigger than ever before. Well, yes, it was, but because of House Bill 3, and so that's a thing. We got to be careful on what we hear out there and what we believe. We got to know the facts, and that's why it's important to get involved on that. I mean, we're grateful for it, but they had to do it. They had no other choice. So, but go ahead and continue. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, but I was going to say, on your phone, you can also download our TSTA app that has the information here. And that way you can also sign up to get the alerts sent to your phone. And as a member, you can also look up your membership card. And I know that that's always very nice when you show up to some place and you go, oh, I work in a public school. Do you have a discount? You can just show them that you are a member. And then they usually, even if they don't have one, they will say, oh, yeah, okay, I'll give you 10% or something, right? So everything helps, especially when you're an educator. We already know that.
Mhm.
Yes.
So definitely download it. It is on Apple and Android, TSTA app, because it will have the information that we're showing you at your fingertips. And then for
Awesome.
the last slide, for the second to last slide, because we're going to talk about the census really fast. The votetexas.gov. This one is for you to go and see, make sure that you are registered to vote. Please make sure you are registered to vote. You don't want to be like me and show up someplace and they go, I'm sorry, you can't vote. You've done all your homework, but you didn't check your status to make sure that you are registered to vote. And I have actually been to places, I believe in Laredo, we visited a high school, and one of our members said, well, I'm not a citizen. I can't vote. So, the message isn't for me, right? And I said, no. The message is still for you because you are a public school employee that has a story to share. You have family, you have friends that can vote. That is your job. If you can't vote because you're not a citizen, then you can tell somebody why you need them to vote education first. Your voice is very powerful. Your vote is very powerful. And when you don't have the vote, you still have your voice and you can get other people to vote on things that are important to you because they care about you or because they hear your story and it moves them. That's why we do what we do. We want to make sure that we let people know what it is that happens in our schools, and amazing things happen in our school. And we want to ensure that they continue to happen and that more of it happens when we're fully funded. So if you go to votetexas.gov, it has the times of when you should be looking to go vote. It says, am I registered? In Texas, you can click on the register to vote, but you're still going to have to mail it in. Some places, and maybe if we get the right people elected, we can have that in Texas where you can do it online. But for right now, you would have to mail it off. And there are some people in your area, I know some local leaders throughout the state become deputized to register people. And so if leaders in your area are deputized, we can also do that and make sure that you are registered, or at least get you the form to make it a little easier. You can look and see what's on your ballot. And this is the part where I said, do your homework. You show up. You can look to see who is running. You can look at our endorsed candidates. And you can, if you don't see somebody that is on your ballot as an endorsed candidate, you can contact your leaders and say, hey, why didn't we endorse this person? Because even if they don't have an opponent, we want to talk to them. Because we want to tell them, this is what you need to do for us to endorse you. Because we want you to support us and we want to support you. After we elect somebody, job is not over. The relationship has to continue to make sure that they're doing what's best for our public schools. So all that information is on there. VoteTexas.gov. I always post it on my Facebook page around the time of elections. And this year, our early voting has been extended.
Yay!
We wanted to have more people do their mail-in votes to be safer. You would think during a pandemic, it would be easier to have our state leaders say, you know what, we want to make sure our voters are safe. Let's go ahead and allow this. But it depends on who you vote for, right? Depends on who gets elected, what happens. And the people that are elected right now are fighting mail-in voting, the expansion of it. And so we might have to show up to a polling place. We're asking you to be very safe. We know that that's an issue, but not having your voice heard is also going to hurt you. And we want to make sure that you plan. Please plan ahead to vote early. Check off the people that you're going to be voting for. Make a plan so that it becomes easier to do. I always take my adult kids with me because they can vote. I call my tia, I call my mom, I call my sister. We all go, okay, I voted, and everybody gets tired of me because I'm calling everybody. And sometimes I ask for pictures and I post them on Facebook because I love them so much and I want to celebrate them.
Or we call it, I'm gonna go pick you up. I'm gonna go pick you up.
Yes.
To that point, I wanted to add on to a video about when she was saying about our endorsed candidates. For those of you that are members, if you would like to know how we endorse candidates, how do we not only just go through the process, but how do we actually get the money to be able to endorse them, to give them the money for their campaign, you know, because we need to get them elected. And so we have what is called the political action contribution. And so we cannot use our dues money, our membership dues to use it for endorsements. So what we do, we have the PAC, and that's separate. And that is something that you do on the side. Usually when we go to meetings, our state HOTs, you know, our House of Delegates, or any meetings local meetings that we have, we always bring out the cards, you know, who would like to be a continuing contributor. And you can start as low as, you know, $1, you know, or, you know, you have it there where you can do 5, 10, whatever a month. It's up to you, whatever you can afford. But the more members that we have contributing, oh my gosh, we can do so much with that money and reach out to more candidates, and to make sure, because all the people that are running against the people that we're endorsing, they have big money backing them up. We can't compete with them. So we need every cent that we can get from our members. So if all our members at least gave $1, $2, $3, you know, that adds up to a lot. And so if you're not a PAC contributor right now, please reach out to Ida, Monica, Micaela, whatever, your AR at your campus, and just say, I would like to be, you know, a contributor. Oh, you can also do it online. You can, I don't have the thing that Ovidia has it.
On that page that we showed before, if you go to tsta.org, legislative action, that first thing is what I can do, become a contributor. It's also on the app once you download
the TST app. Yes. And so it's very important, and we use that money very, very wisely. I mean, there is a committee who will meet and decide who we're going to endorse based on our education needs. Again, how it's going to affect our students and how it's going to affect our employees. And so it's very important. And I know times are tight right now, but you know what? It sometimes, like we said, this is a very important election. Our lives do depend on it. It's not vote like if your life depends. Our lives do depend on it. They do. And I'm going to say what Lily Escosan Garcia, our NEA president right now, that says we need a new president. We need a new president. And that's it.
I agree. And I think people are seeing that more for themselves now more than ever, with the decisions that are being made or the decisions that are not being made. And so this is a perfect example of, I think so many people have seen a clear picture of what these decision makers and the impact that it has on us and our lives. And unfortunately, we have seen so many people lose their lives that it could have been prevented. We're not guaranteed it could have been, but you know, we all needed to do our part, and we needed a little bit more straight guidance. And unfortunately, some of these people in these positions of what we have seen are letting politics interfere with what is best for the employees and the students. So we're hoping that this election is going to be very different. We are going all out on this one, and I believe by the feedback of our members, they are also are agreeing. They are ready to hold people accountable to decisions and promises that they are going to be making. And it's going to take all of us together on this. And how you mentioned on the PAC, that has been so helpful in the past, because sometimes when we endorse candidates at the TSTA level or at the local level, we see that, you know, they're up against candidates with big funding, and so everything helps them. And TSTA goes through the entire vetting process of making sure to only endorse the candidates that are going to support public education and stand by it. So that's very important on the entire process that they have, and that the PAC, the guidelines and restrictions that we do have. And we're very proud of everything that is done at the state level and national level, and of course here locally now. So this election will be unlike no other, especially at the local level, because a lot of people have reached out, a lot of people have shared concerns, and we have lives at stake here. So it's very important.
Yes, very.
And that's the thing is we're making sure that we're voting for people and endorsing people that have a plan. Especially in Texas, we want to make sure that all our communities are being thought of, because we know, we get the reports where the Latino community is the one that's being hit. And we know in your area how scary it is, right? And we want people that are going to care about what is happening to our people and actually do something about protecting us and representing us. That's it. Because even if you're not in the valley, in the Brownsville area, Donna area, all around Texas, we have a lot of Hispanic students. We want to make sure that they know that they are being cared about, that they're not an afterthought. And so we want to make sure that we elect people that are going to be thinking about families. You know, as an immigrant, I am very proud to say that the next vice president could be a woman immigrant from immigrant parents, right? That's a connection that I have. We have to be able to see ourselves in who represents us. And then we have to make sure that the people that are representing us are still listening to us and haven't been disconnected from us so much by their position. We always have to make sure that they know what it is that we're thinking. And that brings us to my last piece, is the census. The census is being cut off a little bit early. If you have not checked off your census, if you have not filled it out, por favor, please do it. I know these are scary times, but the census counts how many people are in an area. It doesn't say we're only going to give money for the citizens. It doesn't say we're only going to give money for the residents. We all need to be counted, especially for our public schools, because our public schools take everybody. Every child that is living in that community has the right to a public school. And we want to make sure that we get the funding for all of our students. So please make sure that you are filling out your census. Texas, I believe, is in 60% finished with the census, the people living here. And so that means that we're not going to be counted at 100%.
Correct.
The census is usually not counted at 100%, but we're not anywhere near where we've been counted before. And the problem is that That means we're going to lose representatives at the national level. We're going to lose funding for different things in your community. Public schools being the one that we are really fighting for. But the number of people in a community brings money, brings representation, resources. We need to make sure that we are giving our children, our families, everything they deserve. And that's what the census does. It counts everybody that lives in your household so that we have the resources, the hospitals, the roads, you name it, anything that the community needs is based on how many people are living there. So please make sure that you have filled out your census. My family has filled it out. My aunts filled it out. My cousins filled it out. I'm checking off people, but please make sure that you are filling out your census. I know these are scary times, but this too will pass, and we're going to be left with whatever happens because of the census for the next 10 years.
Yeah. And the
And
thing
what
is
is
that
the deadline for that?
the what?
I'm sorry, the deadline for the
So-
census?
If you are filling it out, you can still go online. And if you go here to where it says respond, and I'm clicking it like I can move it. Yeah, there you go. And it's just a few questions. And it says if you don't have the number for your census, you can still fill it out. They'll ask you the information they need to make sure that you count. But I believe it's going to be cut off, I want to say October. But I know that it's 1 month, short.
Oh, okay.
And I think I know some of our local representatives are asking for an extension till April. Hopefully, that's what I read. And so one of the reasons why we're so behind is because usually we have people going door to door, getting people to fill out the census. We don't have the luxury right now with that because of the pandemic. We don't have that. Another thing, a lot of our families don't have, access to a computer or internet at their home. So right now, the cities are all scrambling to try and coming up with ideas on how to encourage the citizens or everybody, the residents, to fill out that census because it is very important. It's very important. Can't
So
you know,
one of our members, Mr. Louis Leal, did bring that up to us, or to myself, and said that as educators, we could include that as one of the first assignments for the week when the kids start, for them to do for their family to complete the census and then provide the teacher with the completion of it and give them a grade for that. It would be an easy 100, right? And so that was a really good idea that he came up with. And so I just wanted to throw that out there because we do have educators listening and watching, and that would be an easy grade to give, but it would also be something that's going to be helping our community. And so it also gives us the opportunity to teach what the census means to the kids so that as they get older, they know the importance of it. So I just want to give a kudos to Mr. Leon for that because that was a really great idea.
Yeah, so I said going to be finished in October. It's by October, so September 30th. They said they're going to be finished. Like you have to finish it. And the idea about an assignment, if you go to census.gov, they actually have lesson plans. So I know that I get the newsletters to say you could be doing this in your classroom today to celebrate the census because it does talk about how you are a part of your community and your country. It is all of our country.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another thing that as the voting that we get on our family's nerves. That's what I've been doing, and reaching out to everybody, and they're like, "We already filled it out." And we're like, "Okay, just then you tell your friends."
That's what I say.
If you did it, then you remind your family, your friends, your colleagues, and just spread the word because it is very important that we do fill it out.
I asked for proof.
In different languages.
Yeah.
Okay. So no, that is awesome information, ladies. Thank you so much. So Is there any more that you want to talk about on the state and national level? Because we're going to go into the local stuff.
No, like we said at the beginning, the local stuff is what touches you every single day. So it's very, very important. I'm not going to take any more time away from that. So
We thank you so much for your support always. You guys have always been there. Anytime that we've needed any type of support at the state level and at the national level, it's amazing. We're so amazed with all the work that everybody does there together, and especially now, even during this pandemic, they have stepped up even more at the state and national level. So we are so proud to be part of this team, and we're just trying to follow in those footsteps up there, and we're ready to continue to do that here at the local level. So
I just want to point out that we're all women. And we are, it's about empowerment, right? And so I'm super excited that we have 2 women in the position we have at the state level. That's also the case at our national level, correct? And so, we're coming strong, we're passionate. Yes, we're passionate, and we're going to make a difference. So,
And just as a reminder,
Yeah.
that yesterday we celebrated 100 years of women being able to vote. That was yesterday. And so our national leaders, our president-elect and our vice president-elect are both females.
Females, yes. So this is a really exciting time. I feel like we're going to be making a lot of changes throughout the nation. And so I'm just really excited to be. I know when I started my presidency, it was during a pandemic, so that was kind of scary, right, Ovidia?
right.
You're like, what? But I just feel like we were meant to be placed here at this time. And I'm really excited at what we're going to be able to make happen. So I really want to thank you guys so much for like Ida said, for always being supportive, for always being there, and for helping to empower us here locally. We're gonna start with our local stuff, so you guys feel free to stay, chime in whenever if you want to give us information, extra stuff. We're gonna.
This is where I'm going to leave my vice president, who's got local connections in the first time.
Yes.
I'm watching y'all.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, Ida, do you want me to go ahead and start sharing the PowerPoint?
yeah, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and share our PowerPoint that we have. And the PowerPoint, what it is it's going to be bringing up the positions that are going to be running, and it'll have information on there of the
Candidates.
but the length of the term and who is currently serving the term, okay? And the order, just so you know, is the way that it's going to be coming out in the ballot. We put everything in the order. So
Yes, just to let them know, and also that Micaela's having some technical difficulty, that wonderful internet and Wi-Fi that we have in the Valley. So that's another thing we're fighting for. But these candidates we strictly went off of what was the people who registered and the place that they filed and the order that they drew for. Okay, so this is what was officially drawn for on Monday. This past Monday was the cutoff date. So we're going to go over who registered, what order they ended up drawing for, and then the timeline of what we are fixing to do in moving towards a endorsement at the local level. Okay, so today we are just going over all of the candidates. Basically, we have not reached out to the candidates yet. We will be reaching out to them tomorrow, to each and every one of the candidates. Okay, we don't discriminate, we don't favor. We're giving everybody the same opportunity to fill out our questionnaire, to be able to appear on our show, and to answer the questions, the people's questions. So our members will have the opportunity to send us your questions that you might want to ask them. And we will be doing that for you. You do not have to put your name if you do not want to. We completely understand on the retaliation that people feel that they are under at this time. So you can work through us, your association, and you email us your questions, and we will propose those questions to the candidates. So we're going to go forward to go over the different slides. Okay.
Yes. So our first slide here is for position 2. This is a 2-year unexpired term. It's currently being held by Eddie Garcia. And the individuals that have put their name in for this position, and this is again, like Ida said, this is the order that they drew, is and how they're going to be listed on the ballot, is Jaime Diaz, Frankie Olivo, and Denise Garza. Those are the 3 individuals that are on position will be on the ballot for position 2. Again, this is the order that they drew for, and this is how they will be listed in the on the ballot. We're gonna go. This is position 3. This is a 4-year term. This position 3, is currently being held by Mr. Cowan, Mr. Philip Cowan, and the individuals that have put their name in for this position. Again, the order that they drew and how they're going to be on the ballot is Argelia Miller, Jessica Gonzalez, Philip Cowan, and Vero Cardenas. So those are the individuals for position 3. Again, this is a 4-year term, and this is the position that is currently being held by Philip Cowan.
Now, just to let y'all know, for the people who might not be familiar on these positions, the places that they hold, and all of that, the reason that the first position that she showed was a 2-year term is because that was a term that was filled. They appointed that person, Eddie, to a position. So it was just finishing off that term. So these terms are usually all 4 years, but there was 2 years left on that term. And that is why that one is just a 2-year term that is left. Okay.
So then we're going to go to position 5. Again, 4-year term, currently held by Laura Perez Reyes. And the individuals who have put their name in for this position is Daniela Lopez Valdez and Erasmo Castro. Again, this is a 4-year term, position 5. Position 6, again, like I just said, the only one that was the one for Eddie Garcia, but I'm going to keep saying this is a 4-year term. This position is currently held by Minerva Peña. Minerva Peña, Marisa F. Leal, and Joe A. Rodriguez are the individuals that have put their name in for position 6. Position 7, currently held by Dr. Sylvia P. Atkinson, and the individuals that have placed their name in for position 7, Eddie Garcia and Carlos Elizondo. Okay, anything before I go over this item?
No, basically, feel free to ask questions, and we do see on the side chat where some of our members are already sharing their opinion of who they are in support of. So, that is correct. Let me see. On go back, was one missing? Oh, okay. No, that is correct. So anyway, they're showing who they're in support of, and that is great. But we're going to go over the screening process and the endorsement process that we go through, because here with, as you know, as we've said before at AOBE, we don't make the decisions for you. We put it up before our membership to decide, and we go with majority. Whatever majority feels that is the best candidate for those positions, then that is who we are going to endorse, and we are going to move forward in endorsing and supporting to get these candidates elected. Okay, so this is the process that we have of as far as what we're going to do to screen and endorse the candidates.
Yes, and so there we did make a little change a little earlier today to this, and I'll get to that as soon as I get to that part of this presentation. So all candidates, like Ida said, will be contacted tomorrow. We will be emailing them all the questionnaire, It will be due back no later than Wednesday, August 25th. And we are going to, in the email that we send to them, give them a time, cutoff time. And it has to be emailed back so that we can have a timestamp. The questionnaires will be uploaded to our myaobe.com website so that all of our members can see what questions are being asked. Again, like Ida mentioned, if you have a question you feel is pressing and you feel we need to be adding to the questionnaire, please make sure to send us an email today so that we can get that on the questionnaire and have that be part of the questions being asked for the candidates, okay?
Now that's on Wednesday, August 26th.
26th, yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it said 25th. So
Okay, sorry.
it's on the 26th, and you can email us, how she said, the questions, any questions that you want for us to maybe add to the questionnaire, but also you can also email us questions that we will be asking the candidates at the live forum.
Broadcast. Yes. Okay, and the next part is the live forum that Ida's mentioning, and that is that all candidates will be invited to attend the live broadcasted forum. The members are welcome to email, like Ida said, the questions for the candidates for the live forum. And what we changed, what we discussed today, just because we want to have a little bit more time, is we are going to be looking at place 2 and 3 to be broadcasted live on August 27th, and we're going to change place 5 and 6, 5, 6, and
7, that's a 7.
Sorry.
So it'll be a 7.
5, 6, and 7 will be broadcasted live on the 28th. So we're looking at doing Thursday and Friday back to back so that we can have a little bit of time to send for our members to be able to think, and we can look at endorsing a little bit earlier. The voting ballots, we're going to go out to our members. We're going to send that probably a little bit earlier than the 4th, right, Ida? Because we're looking
Correct.
at, yeah.
Yes, so since it was decided right before that we're trying to have as much time as we can to campaign for the endorsed candidates. So therefore, the voting ballot that's going to go out to our membership will be probably before that. Since it's going to be the 28th, we're probably looking at August 29th for the
ballot.
Yes.
Yeah, for the ballot to go out. And so, of course, that's going to go out to our membership through text blast, the way we send out our messages to our members. So just be on the lookout for that, okay? So we'll be, once we send you the text blast, we'll be letting you know when we want them back, like when the deadline would be for you guys that you would have to respond for the ballots. That's going to be different from here. Again, like we just decided that right before we came onto the show because we wanted to have a little bit more time for endorsing. Okay, the voting process. Only members with our association will be allowed to vote on who we are endorsing as an organization. Your membership will be verified, okay? And you will be using the Google Forms, with the surveys, the links that we've sent out with the surveys, it's going to be the same thing. But just know that we will be verifying membership for everybody that submits the form because those are our members. Those are our paying members, and we need to give them priority.
Correct. They have the right to decide who, as an association, we feel is going to be the best fit for the needs of the membership, the needs of the district. So that's the voice that you have. And we're hoping that the majority of our membership exercise their right to vote for who they want to endorse locally as an association.
Correct.
So we will have the process. We have the elections committee, just so everybody knows. We have an elections committee who will be reviewing the votes and verifying the membership to make sure that not just anybody can submit that. Anybody who is not an active member will be, their vote will be voided, and but we will make sure that they are not a active member at that time. So there's a complete.
Can I add?
Yeah.
Can I add something in there?
Sure.
As far as the endorsement process is concerned, remember we were talking how we endorse candidates. We just don't do it at the national and state level. We also do locally. So once you all decide who you're going to endorse, remember you need to make sure you submit that. If you're going to want some sort of assistance from the state level from our PAC, you do need to make sure you get with Portia Bossy, who who takes care of that department. So that way we can do some sort of flyers or something, mailers that will be going out to the members as
Yes,
a reminder of who you all
absolutely.
endorse.
And we will actually, once it is decided on which candidates will be endorsed, we will reach out to each one individually to see what is their preferred method of support, and then go that route. So we will definitely be in touch with the state level and the PAC committee, and to see what it is that we can do to support these candidates that are going to be endorsed. We will also be working. It's going to be an election that is going to be different from any other election due to the limitations of face-to-face contact. So we are going to have to be doing things a little bit different on this one. It's going to be a lot of more, phone banking. It's going to be a lot more of reaching out to family members and making commitments. And that is why we are in the process of downloading and purchasing the different softwares needed to be able to track all of this information, and to make sure that our members and the commitments that our members make are followed through. So I think someone was asking, could you please repeat the day and time, please? I guess, is it on the date and time for this previous slide? I don't know. Oh, okay, I guess on this one, it will be what we're looking at, and we will end up texting it out to our members. But what we're looking at is August 27th and 28th for airing the live forums,
And it'll be at 7.
Correct, at 7. So we're looking at next Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
We were going to do it next Thursday and then the following Thursday, but we don't want to waste any time on this. We want to do this as soon as possible. And so we can already have an endorsement and start working towards getting the endorsed candidates elected.
Yes. And I just wanted to say, I know that there's a lot of restrictions and fear, and I went and I did the curbside voting when we were doing the primaries, and they brought out plastic, what's it called, a clipboard, and I saw the gentleman walking out, sanitizing it as he walked out towards me, and sanitizing the pen that he gave me that I filled out my ballot with. So I didn't have to get off my car. He had his mask on. I had my mask on. He was sanitizing as he walked out. It was not hard. There was not a long line. So, I do understand that some people want to do the mail-in ballots, and that's great. That's the option, another option. But I just wanted to tell you my experience when I went, which was at the public library on Central. It was quick, very safe, very minimal contact. He gave me the clipboard, and he stepped away from the car to give me my distance, and everything was sanitized as he was walking out. So I was very happy with the experience that I had when I went to go vote.
Correct. It was curbside has been very successful on the last elections, the runoff. Also, I did curbside. I took my mom, my tias, my cousins, everybody who was willing to go with me, and I was amazed with how safe everybody was. I even took extra wipes in case they didn't do proper sanitizing of everything, and the hand sanitizers, so they could sanitize their hands right after. But I was impressed with how safe and clean everything was.
Yes.
And it makes it a whole lot easier. And you don't have to worry about getting exposed. They don't get close to you. You wear your mask and everything. So it is completely safe. But you do have different options here, as you can see, and you have the right to exercise all of this. The only thing that we can say is vote early, because right now, with how things are changing, we have seen it from 1 week to the next, and even from one day to the next. And sometimes we tend to put things off, thinking, "Oh, okay, I'm going to go." But we have seen and we've discussed today how important this election is. So we want to try to get these things out of the way, because we don't know what can happen. We don't know if we're going to have to be taking care of a family member, or there's going to be a sudden spike in numbers. So we want to be able to do everything that we can, and we don't want to put it off. So it doesn't take very long to do it. And you can go at any location in your county to go vote. That's the beauty of early voting, is that you don't have to go to your designated precinct voting location. You can go anywhere, and you don't have to worry about the people outside and getting harassed and being seen. Or I don't know if that's more of a Hidalgo County thing, kind of that Linda is more familiar with. They get a little vicious over here, but in Cameron County, you're able to go anywhere as well, and just like in Hidalgo County. So this is going to be the first time that we have 3 weeks of early voting. So but again, we don't want to put it off. We don't want to, continue to say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go next week. Falta mucho. And I hear that a lot from different people.
And Ida, may I ask, a lot of the people here in the Valley, I don't know if it's just in the Valley, but I know, like my aunts, they have that mentality. Oh no, we like to vote the day of.
Oh gosh,
we
yes.
We like to vote the day of. Yeah, but the day of something happens, and then they're not able to vote. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't make it. I'm like, well, that's why you should have voted early. And so that is why it's very, very important that we go vote early. And yes, like Ida says, here in the Valley, here in the Hidalgo County, they do get a little in your face, to vote for somebody or whatever. And so it's a little intimidating for some. And that's what kind of turns people off. And they would rather do early voting at different places, not there at their precinct. They'll go somewhere else, or their town. And so yes, make sure that you go vote early, and we got to get rid of that mentality that, oh, we like to vote the day of, because a lot of things happen the day of that will keep us from voting.
Yeah, and a lot of people have that mentality, que les gusta el guasto, and they want to go where all the action is, y que esto lo otro. And I know how it is, because I've been out at some of those camps at times, for different campaigns. So I know how aggressive people can get, but we definitely don't want to put that off at all, especially now in the times that we're living in right now. And some of the questions on the side, Miss Ovidia Molina, that was with us earlier, she's saying, if you don't see the safety measures, you can let them know, and they should be doing it. So you can speak up for everyone. And that is so true, because, it's not about, being ugly to people and stuff, but sometimes, they might have forgotten to be practicing certain safety measures, so we can let them know, because we're here to try to encourage more people to go. And we're here to, so you can let your family members, let your neighbors know, let los primos, let that one that's always complaining about how nothing changes, y que blah, 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 and this and that. Let that one know, hey, I went and it was really easy and it was super safe. And, you should go. I went to this location and there was no lines, because those lines at that last minute on that last day can be horrible. And we don't know what we're looking at. And we've all been there when we ended up putting it till the very end. sometimes because of work or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
And then there you go. You're rushing because that last day you have to go to your precinct location. And so it makes it a little bit more difficult. And so you want to avoid that. So the only way to avoid that is by voting early and getting it out of the way, and be very proud that you got that out of the way already. And if you have Facebook, post it on Facebook, and also promote it and encourage other people. And that's one of the things that we're going to be doing in this election. From when we endorse the candidates, we are going to be monitoring what each member is going to commit to. And we'll be following up to see how that commitment is coming along, and if they can commit to even more, because we have never had this level of concerns from members, and they're valid concerns, each one of what they're experiencing. So the only way to change things is by having people that we can support and hold them accountable to what they say that they're going to do to make it a better place in the position that they're running for. So that's what we can say on the voting. And also, I believe did we talk about the mail-in ballots? I'm sorry.
No, not yet. We were getting there.
Okay.
Hold on, let me share the screen again. I just wanted to share the question. Okay, so we're looking at, again, like we said, the best thing to do is to get in there early. You will not be in there with a lot of people because early voting there's not a huge turnout, although we wish there were. But early voting is the way to go. It allows you the time for, like Linda said, in case something happens, then you have this amount of time that you can do it. There also is, like I mentioned, when you are voting early, it doesn't matter where you vote. And like Ovidia said, Ms. Molina, the TSTA president said, she went to go vote on the day of and she ended up at the wrong place. And so, had she voted early and voted, she would have been able to vote wherever, and it would have counted. So again, early voting, this is the dates that we have for early voting, that the October 13th to all the way through October 30th. And then election day, of course, is November 3rd. And the mail-in ballots need to be requested now, and you will have up to October 23rd. So we need, if you need any kind of assistance with any of this, please call the office. I'm gonna have Micaela post these dates on our AOBE website, just so that in case you all want to access and go back and see if you forget the dates or whatever the case may be. And we'll probably also be posting where early voting will be taking place, so that, like, my precinct is not the library on Central, but it's just the easiest thing for me, because if I get out of work or if I go visit my mom, it's closer for me to go through there, and I just go drive up, do that, and then come back home. So it's just easier, but that's not where my precinct, I think it's Hudson. So I'm on the other side of town. But it's just easier for me when I get out of work or whatever, and I just drive by there. So it's also more convenient, because you don't have to go to a certain spot. You can go to wherever's closest to you. So we'll try to post this information on our Facebook page. Actually, we could probably post it also on our Facebook page, and we can post it on our AOBE website, so that you guys can have access to this. And again, on the bottom, the banner that's going across has our website, has our phone number, and has our email. So you can access that and look at information that we have on there.
Okay, great. I'm sorry?
Anything else? Did I miss anything with that?
No, but just to add a little something on the mail-in ballots, it's your call on how you want to handle this. They are available to start requesting them already, and then they'll start mailing them out once that they are available. And the last day to request one is October 23rd. Now, if you request one and you have the option to mail it out, or you have the option also to go and drop it off at one of the county clerk's offices. Yes. So you have that option, or you can just mail it out. It's your choice on that, whatever you feel more comfortable with. If you request a mail-in ballot and you go to one of the locations for early voting, if you do that, it takes a little bit longer because they have to verify and then cancel out the mail-in ballot. And, so that takes a little bit of time, but it is doable as well, okay? It's going to be a little bit more work, but you can do that. If you want to do that, just to be on the safe side, that way you make sure you have a ballot available in case, you never know if you're not going to have the option to go to one of the voting locations. You can have the ballot with you, but it is completely your call on that. But those are the different options that you have for mail-in ballots. Okay, you can mail them out, or you can drop them off at one of the county clerk's offices out there. So, or have a family member help you go mail it out. So that is something that you can also do if you do not think you will be able to be up for going to one of the locations. Okay. That's all I was going to add on that one.
Okay.
So basically that is it. Don't forget, you can email us at that email address below, the aobadvocate@gmail.com. We are for the questions. Any questions that you want to add on the for us to address with the candidates? We are working on the complete setup for the forum. And to be as fair as possible to all the candidates. We are hoping each candidate does respond, but like Ms. Ovidia Molina mentioned earlier, if they did not respond, of course, if they don't, there's no way that we can move forward in considering their endorsement, because they need to show some commitment and interest in our association and what we're expecting of them as a school board member. So it cannot be just automatically that we're going to put them up for a vote on our ballot if they don't respond and listen to what it is that we have concerns with at the district. And believe me, at this time, we have a lot of concerns. So maybe that's why they might not want to. But I just don't think that they would go that route, because that would be kind of foolish on their part. But they do have to respond on that. So please do email us any questions that you want us to ask.
Yes, and I just wanted to make sure to stress that we are the largest local association here in the district. And as the largest local, we can sway the vote the way we want it. So it's just very important that aside from our numbers as members, that you take out family members, 5, 6, 7 people with you to make sure that they go out and they help with the vote. Not only, we are the largest local, but as educators, we are, I think, the largest employee here in our city is BISD, if I'm not mistaken. And so if we had all educators go out and vote together, unified, my God, the change we could make. So I just want you guys to know, we really need to use our voice. There's power in numbers, there's power in unity, and we are the largest group of people in this city that can, I mean, we could control the city if we wanted with our votes. So please, 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 I beg of you, go out, make your voice heard, take people with you, and please understand that your voice really does matter. And as the largest group of employees in the city of Brownsville, we can get what we want.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we are so proud of our members. Our members have been amazing through this pandemic.
Yes.
We've been able to empower you as far as your rights that you have for your leave, different rights that you have during this time. And it is such a wonderful feeling to be able to see our members being able to exercise their rights that they have. So, but with all of this and that we have seen, it is important, and we have all the confidence that we're going to be able to bring, some positive change locally, statewide, nationwide, everywhere, because we will get out the vote. We have to. We cannot stand back. We cannot afford it. Our lives cannot afford that. Our loved ones cannot afford that. And so we need to unite right now and make a difference on this. So we will have different ways of helping out. If you are interested in helping out in different ways, please also email us and let us know about that. And we welcome all types of help on this. And it is highly encouraged at this time.
And
Okay.
just want to make sure that everybody knows that we are not going to be we're going to be practicing safety, right? And so this isn't a regular time. And so block walking is probably not going to be what we're going to be looking at to help endorse. We'll probably be doing calling, and things like that for sure, pamphlets, whatever we can do that will, of course, safety is the priority. And so just know that we're not really going to be looking at block walking at this time because our numbers are so high. So we need to think out of the box and kind of try to figure out how we can do the best thing that we can do for our candidates. I do have a question here from Mr. Cavazos. Do you know what the lines are as far as where you live to be able to vote for BISD school board? I am in Olmito. We can try to put a map also on our association page. I think we can get a map probably from the city to see the lines where the cutoff is, and along with that, we can also have on the map where your precinct is if you're deciding to vote on the 3rd, or where you can vote early.
Yes. Remember, Anthony, the best way to avoid all of those issues is to go through early voting, because you can go to any voting location. So it makes it a whole lot easier, because I've also experienced that of what Ms. Ovidia Molina mentioned about waiting on election day, and I ended up at the wrong voting location. So I had to race across town and stuff. Of course, thank God our town is not as big as Brownsville, but I had to go to the other location, and I made it. But luckily I didn't get a ticket or anything. But that's what happens when we wait to the last minute. So thank you, Anthony. And early voting is definitely the way to go. And we strongly recommend to also take several people. So we'll be reaching out and getting you to commit to whatever you feel comfortable with, be it 5 people, 10 people, depending. Everybody's situation is different, but we need to make sure that on what we commit to, that's what we're going to make sure that they went to go vote. And it's not just like we're committing to a number and that's it. No, we want you to be on top of them. You're going to be responsible for them. Have them confirm with you, send you a picture, whatever it is that they have voted. That's how hardcore I can get. I get, I'll get the picture of the little sticker and whatever, and to make sure that they have gone out to vote, because we need to bring about change. So
Yeah. We definitely need change. And I just want to let you know, Mr. Cavazos, if you are not in an area where you can vote for BISD board, send 20 people to vote that are, and that's you doing your part.
Mm-hmm.
That's you doing your part. Miss Nelda Rocha, we miss you. Can a retired
Yeah.
teacher, citizen, voter send a question via email? Miss Nelda Rocha, you are a retired TSTA member, ma'am. That means that you are a member with us. So yes, you can.
Definitely.
And we miss you and we love you.
We do, and you look great.
I know. Retirement looks good on you, Miss Rocha.
Yes, it does. So, just some quick updates. On last week, we had some door prizes. We're having trouble contacting Miss Marta Lopez and Margarita Cristiano. If you can please call our office at, you see the number at the bottom, but it's 621-3010. Or if anybody knows these ladies, can you please have them give us a call? I'm trying to get in contact with them to get you your door prize. You each actually won a $25 gift card from HEB. So you can order curbside and stay safe and enjoy your $25 gift card from that. And another update is also on the salary reviews. We are working on that. We did receive plenty of those to review. So we will be in contact with you. You don't have to send a follow-up to see how it's going. They'll be contacting you. One of our advocates will be contacting you to let you know if they have any further questions. But if you submitted all the information that was requested, they will be able to do the comparison and let you know, and then let you know if anything else is needed.
Yes.
Okay.
Another update I do want to mention is we did make some adjustments to our office hours. I just wanted to throw that out there. And the main reason is because I myself am an educator, and we are teachers, we are the members, and we are also the board members, and we're the ones that are running the organization, but we also are teachers. We work for the district. And so since we've gone back to work already, we've adjusted our secretary's time to start a little bit later so that she can be available when we're available after we get out of work. And so if you're calling in the morning, please just leave a message, and one of us will get back to you if somebody doesn't answer right away. It's because we made an adjustment to our hours for our office, simply because we want her to be available when we're available for questions or for verification of membership or for whatever the case may be. So please know that it's not that there's nobody there. We're still getting the messages. Just leave a message and somebody will call you guys back, okay?
Okay, so I think that's it for our show. I do want to thank everybody who has submitted questions, who has reached out to us. I know we're starting a brand new year. We thank everybody for doing their part. We know there's a lot of issues, a lot of obstacles that we're facing, a lot of concerns. But I ask you guys to continue to hold on. We're going to get through this. We are addressing the issues. We're not staying silent on it. There has been so many concerns, but I don't want you to think that we are sitting back and we are okay with many things that they're doing. But we are very proud of our members and how they're handling everything and the commitment level that they have for our students. So you guys are amazing, and we thank you so much for everything, and for being a member with us and giving us the opportunity to empower you. And we hope you have a great evening on my behalf.
Yes, thank you so much. And again, we will be seeing you next Thursday and Friday. Don't forget, it's a 2-day back-to-back, Thursday and Friday. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please don't forget to send emails with your questions, and be looking out for the ballots. Have a good night.
Good night.